keep myself composed. It takes a lot not to overload. They can't tell me what is right for me. I just need peace of mind and my ability. But no one said that it would be this hard. You can't force it, but you'll play your part. So I will run until I reach the end, and who knows where I'll be. But all I know is that we'll start again. Don't wait for me to fall under that pressure. Don't wait for me to give it up. Well, I will not work against the forces I trust. Have to stay above the rushing, the rushing wall. I've got my sights on a brand new beginning. A steady rhythm will hold me to the shore. I've got my sights on a brand new beginning. A steady rhythm will hold me to the shore.
Good evening, everyone. On the APAC server, obviously. When we get to this, it's the second Proof of Skill tournament, and we are on day 2 again. And there is a lot to follow tonight. There are a lot to follow, and this is the Proof of Skill tournament format. We have the double elimination bracket of 4 teams for both days, but this day is a little bit different because we have the best of 5 games played except the upper bracket first round, which will be a best of 3, whereas day 1 all games are played in the best of 3 series. And if you don't know about the the double elimination format, this is a brief summary using a graphic provided by Wargaming a couple of seasons ago. It also happens that it says both teams advance to the second stage for the first stage, so so this is kind of a coincidence, and we're here for it. But anyway, other than that, we have the second day also a similar format, except the number of battles that each team has to play. So once again, I want to draw your attention to the number of cups. Today, the teams will earn more cups than the first Proof of Skill tournament, but the chaos will happen in the next 2 Proof of Skill tournaments. All the important games are going to happen in those 2 Proof of Skill tournaments, and as you can see, if you can get the first place on day 1, that is pretty much the sum of the number of cups between the first and second Proof of Skill, and likewise for the fourth Proof of Skill is pretty much the sum of the second and the third Proof of Skill tournament, the number of cups there. So so it's very important that teams have to perform consistently well in order to have a good gap in terms of the number of cups as they manage to slip up a little bit in the previous skill tournaments. And obviously this is very different to the past Proof of Skill tournaments where the number of cups are increasing somewhat linearly, but this is increasing exponentially. So I really like to see the exponential increase in the number of cups there. Well, for the EU server, it's still the same system, but for NA and the APAC server, this is a totally different scheme for the number of cups achieved. So I think one reason why Wargaming does this is to prevent certain match days being the days where teams don't have to work really hard to get to the top 8 stage, or I mean, in other words, they've already secured a spot in the top 8 or the Challengers tournament with 1 match day remaining, or even 2 match days remaining. So Wargaming wants to prevent this from happening, so that is why they assigned an increasing amount of cups as we progress through the Proof of Skill tournament. So once again, please make sure that you play really well on the first day, especially for the third and fourth Proof of Skill tournaments. The number of teams could potentially decrease as we go along. But the APAC server has been somewhat consistent in numbers, so it's entirely possible we might have only 7 groups on day 3, on day 1, in the third Proof of Skill tournament and the fourth Proof of Skill tournament. And this is also when things get really heated up. Okay, so end of me saying lots of stuff about the cups. So giving you a brief outline of the autumn season, thanks to graphics from Wargaming. We are almost halfway through the previous skill tournaments, and we will soon discover the top 8 and the 9 to 7, the top 16 even teams that will qualify to either the Professionals Tournament or the Challengers Tournament. And the Professionals Tournament will take a longer time to complete. And also, it will be quite an endurance battle for me to stream on that week. So, all the best to me for that. And the top 4 will qualify to Blitz Ultimate Cup, and it's a regional tournament there. So, unfortunately, we won't be having an offline event this year again, but we will have an extraordinary prize pool for each region. This is going to be $50,000 US. We are already in November, so let's just focus on November. So just take note of the purple tabs here, and these are the match days. These are days where you will expect streams from a couple of streamers. So put that down in your diary, and for the viewers out there, and obviously the teams know the dates for the competition. So finally, the group I'm following tonight will be Group 4, and I will be following ID versus Brown first. And hopefully, I will be allocated to stream once again, like last time, to the lower bracket first round, where we will find out which team will get the 4th place, and then the lower bracket final, where we will find out which team will get the 3rd place, and finally, we will head straight to the grand final. Okay, that being said, let's actually look at the groups. Just blanking out for a minute here. And please bear with me for a moment. I will also, in the meantime, get into the room before I forget to do that. The room is up actually, and I have to make sure I get into a medium or a light turn, which I did. So, okay, so let's look at the groups. So we have Group 3 with Risk, P2, Nomad, and PTW. And I have to change the leaderboard. It's the APAC server, not the EU server. So there we go. Group 4 will be ID, Brown, GB, and 180. This is the group of death. Certainly, 4 teams all have a good chance of getting top 1. And the Group 1, RNSZ, P1, EOS. Finally, Group 2, we will have GRS, UQ, RIRI, and DT. And hopefully we will get a lot of teams watching tonight's stream. It will be amazing to watch. This is going to be an extraordinary group, a very competitive group, I must say. And thanks Wargaming for the ping earlier. Let's go for the lineups now. So Brown, interesting. Strasny not playing this time? Interesting. Or has he changed his username? I'm just going to check. The team we are seeing. Oh no, Strasny is actually here in the team. I mean, let me change the scene, and that's going to give you the roster for Brown. We have Strasny in the team, but he is not playing. he is not in the team here. As we all know, I mean, Strasny is in the banned team of the First Alliance on the EU server, and I believe he's like the lifetime player. I'm not sure if he's a caller though, but he is definitely a really strong player. Gives a lot of strategic guidance, skill guidance, something like that. I mean, his kind of pedigree is going to be really important for Brown, and his help towards Brown is potentially going to mean whether they will be in the top 8 or not. But they don't have really good seeding, that's for sure. So they will have to fight really hard every single Premier Skill tournament. And the first Premier Skill tournament, they did really well. They got first on the first day and second on the second day, and they landed in the third place on the Cup leaderboard. But tonight, the challenge is even harder because they have to overcome APAC giants like ID and also GB. So we will see if they will survive this onslaught. But let's look at ID team. Spartan's Sword still finding the tank, but I don't think he would like to go for Leaderboard 1. And he will go for a Sheridan here. And ID will have Campun, Last Hope for Me, and LDS, Triple Type 71, ARWV, E100, Plurielica, VK72.01K, and finally CPAC in the 60 TP. So we have Hinter and Colette on the subs bench. I'm not sure if I remember Colette on the. I'm not sure if that's a Phoenix player on the EU, so I might be wrong. Please don't mind me. Well, we'll go in very soon, and will Brown give us some surprise tonight? We will find out now. My Ruins. Let me double check. I got the right team on the scoreboard. And in we go, My Ruins, ID on the north spawn, and Brown on the south spawn, and Brown testing out the chat with Hello World's greeting. But let's look at Spartan Sword in the Sheridan. I mean, he's going to traverse through the sea area, but he might be joined by Memento and Horizon. Memento in particular. So can Spartan Sword get this sea cat with impunity? He will spot up Memento really soon, and this is going to be the decision he has to make because he can't get C, and Memento misses a big opportunity to put a shot in there. But also Brown is very isolated. I mean, it's very spread out. I mean, look at 5 tanks near A. And then only 2 tanks near C, and those are Type 71s. Can they relocate, or can they run away quickly enough, and will ID just go push in, or will they just stay? And Brown, potentially these 2 Type 71s could stay alive for a good amount of time. ARWV is in deep trouble now. ID's now coming in to get those 2 Type 71s out of the way. But I will have to say, Plurielica and ARWV will be in deep trouble. Look at Brown now. The focus will be on ARWV, and they are in deep trouble. And what is CPAC going to do? Is he going to focus on Chon? But ARWV won't be able to shoot something, but Brown not pushing in might be an issue here. But look at this. There is a big brawl happening around C area. Memento is going to go down very soon. And LDS is quite low as well. If Brown manages to kill LDS, that can be really advantageous for them. But we will not follow this area for now. With Horizon also dead, but Plurielica and ARWV for some reason are still alive. And CPAC really important, that middle area. Big shot into the backside of Chon. But I mean, both teams are still kind of warming up. Because the focus fire looks a little bit off for both teams, I would say. I mean, even more so for Brown. ID a bit better in the efficiency department. And finally, ARWV goes down, but it takes really long for Brown to do that, and Plorielica is ignoring that entirely. Now looking for Chon. Getting that tank out will be really crucial, and Plorielica very slow receives a hit from both Miss Insane and Suraj. And now ID will be looking to kill these 3 tanks. And there is also one tank near the middle with ultimate, but I think they aren't going to send in everyone to kill those tanks. Brown might have some spaces for breathing here, because now ID are now focusing on a couple of tanks, but they are now focusing on Siraj, and that tank is killed, and next they will go for Mr. Insane, or will last for me go for Moshenik. Nope, he will go for Mr. Insane. Good call there. Moshenik is probably not in the line of fire, and Plorielica is trying to hide behind Campen, and Campen really shields Plorielica well. And finally, we have ultimates going to be shut down by LDS and also Moshenik, the last person standing, and this match will go to ID. There is no hello everyone on the chat. There is no code on this stream, unfortunately. Brown doesn't look very good so far. They are struggling a lot with their focus fire and their pushes. Actually, they were hesitating quite a lot in the pushes. I mean, if it were if it were maybe like Risk or P1, they would just go straight ahead and take out those double heavies really quickly. I mean, their focus fire wasn't really on point there as well. And ID, I think it got really complicated with the kind of this with the kind of the battle unfolding. They did a really good job in trying to micromanage the shots and so on. And the end, everything goes well together. I mean, it looks like they are going for completely different targets, but the complicated focus fire they displayed here is what brought them the win, in my opinion. And also, they made a good call to push the 2 Type 71s out there near C. I'm not really sure whether that is a good strategy or not, because basically what happens is that there are 2 tanks that are near 2 heavy tanks near C, and the rest of the tanks on the other side. The problem is those 2 heavy tanks cannot rotate quickly enough, but maybe we see something like that on the EU side as well. So maybe it's not the positioning problem here. Maybe it's that the other side didn't really make use of the numerical tank advantage to kind of swarm those 2 super heavies of ID. I mean, technically, those 2 super heavies are doing a better job than the Type 71s in terms of armor, probably. But if not, then maybe the hit points. But you see the idea there. It's really about reacting to the lineup of the opponents, and ID has done a little bit better in this area. Right, so I'm probably just not explaining very well here, but I hope you get the idea of what I want to say. Let's see, with ID now, this time red team from the south spawn. Spartan Sword again looking to get into C, but there is double leopard ones this time. There are double leopard ones. Spartan Sword might be in deep trouble. Oh, big shot into Memento, but can he run away quickly enough? There are 2 heavy tanks coming from behind, so Spartan Sword has support. But double taps, the double tap on Spartan Sword is definitely not the best side, not the start he wanted for. And the double leopard ones will run away from C. That is a good call, in my opinion. You don't want to stay in medium tanks, especially not so well armored medium tanks in one single cap. You don't want medium tanks to hold. Basically, that's what I wanted to say. A great shot from Z Park onto Mr. Insane. Now Brown will try to get A, but will they get A before ID's cap points overtake Brown? We will find out very soon. And it might not. It might be the case. No, ID has slightly more cap points here. Brown just went into a little bit too late. But this is definitely not the losing call for round. They still have a lot to do here. I mean, they could do a lot of amazing stuff still. There is still a lot of time. I mean, we have around 400 cap points of remaining, 5 cap points per 2 seconds of increase. We're still looking at more than 2 minutes of spotting, of information gathering. Brown, have they taken my advice on not dropping unnecessary hit points? Have they conserve hit points better this time? We'll find out now, but now ID's trying to put even more pressure onto Camper, but let's take a ultimate. There to reset Camper, and Camper can't really get B in this situation, but will ID do something here? ID might have to make a move potentially, but Camper's still getting B. Oh, but it's a reset again. But ID also ready for Mr. Insane. Ready for Mr. Insane to peek out and shoot Camper, so they came prepared. Brown still loses some hit points. I mean, Motionik and also has lost so many hit points. I'm not sure how he did that there. But Brown might be looking for a push coming from. I pressed the wrong button. Coming from Memento and Chon. And this is all about getting Boreanica quickly. And Spartan Sword is there as well. Oh, great traction from LDS. This push is all about the focus here. It's all about concentration. I mean, look at the hit point push sharing of Brown could work in their favor, but the Leopard ones are going for the Sheridan. I think that could be a good call, but potentially will isolate Chan Chan. And there is already a Leopard one being taken out, 2 Leopard ones being taken out, because the problem is they are showing their backsides to those heavy tanks. Those HE shells would do a lot of damage. But we've also Chon and Motionik being killed. Brown, they actually took out Last Hope for me, but that's only their first tank down here. ID really dominant, I have to say. Them able to take B in the end is really the game changer. And I think Brown, I think they need to kind of streamline the sort of pushes and so on. I mean, ID has done beautifully in terms of shutting down whatever Brown is doing, and I have to give a lot of credit to them for this, because they really show that they are on top of the game with reading the map, reading what the opponents are doing. Brown, they were left with very little space to respond to. And I think they really need to be a little bit more decisive and just be a bit more confident in their playstyle. I mean, they have some really good ideas for the strategy, so that's for sure. But they really need to execute. They really need to get the execution part done nicely. It's something that I think they have, like, maybe in their team they have like a lot of ideas that they want to go for, but it doesn't seem to go well together, unfortunately, for those 2 matches. And yeah, this is pretty much it for the upper bracket first round, and see if if the upper bracket the lower bracket first round will be there soon at 101 AD. I'm still playing against ARWV, so we don't have the invite just yet. Okay, and the poll, it seems to be hugely in favor of ID winning Group 4. I mean, those 2 matches from ID are pretty strong. I mean, even more so for the second match. That is really, really strong from them, and hopefully they will get into top 8. But it's just only the beginning. It's only the beginning. It's not. We're not there yet. Alright. I got into the wrong website. Apologize. Okay, so we have our end and P1 winning 2-0. So they're through to the next round, and also we have GRS and Riri winning 2-0, also through to the upper bracket final. And then we have Risk 2-0 against P2, and PTW still playing against Nomad here. Next we have our games finished as 2-0 victory for ID, and Brown will find out which opponent they will face in the lower bracket first round, and we will get an invite pretty soon from that, hopefully. Okay, so let's actually also update the cups as we speak. Okay. Just give me a moment. Back very soon. Okay, room is up. Thank you. Thank you for allocating me to the lower record first round. But I don't think Young Kun is streaming this. Maybe. Hi, Magnitude. I remember you. Hopefully, I will get to stream you in the future. In the meantime, if you have a clan logo, if you're 3BA or as I was told, it's called Isra. If you have a clan logo, please send it to my DMs, and I will happily have your clan logo shown on my stream and the graphics. So that goes out for people from Rats and HPG from the APAC server who are watching the stream. If you have your clan logos ready, do DM me on the product. And I'm not going to update the cups for now. I'm just going to focus on what we are going to be seeing very soon. With 10180 losing to GB, and what is the scoreline for that? It appears to be GB winning 10180 to 1. That is that has gone to a tiebreaker here. So I'm going to change a little bit. It's round. Hopefully, hopefully it's going to work. The scoreboard is going to work nicely. Brown versus 101 AD, and we are now going to be changing our seeds. Now Strasny is in the team, so this is going to give Brown a change. Will Brown knock out 101 AD tonight, or will 101 AD shows us what they're capable of? 101 AD, I think. They have a couple. They are Chinese. They're of Chinese diaspora, I believe. That's what I remember from them. Some of them are playing on the Chinese server, but I think the majority of them are Chinese people playing in different parts of Asia. I might be wrong about this, so please correct me if I'm not correct about that. Meanwhile, Brown is kind of an international clan. Might be wrong about this, but they are looking to get some substitutions in. So I'm going to go back to the room now, and I'm not sure what kind of strategy they're going for. I mean, on the stream you're seeing 5 tanks, but while the scene is not showing this, while the scene is not showing the battle room, here. It's not the battle room, the waiting room. The waiting room, I would say the waiting room. It's not showing the waiting room. While the stream is not showing the waiting room, I'm very sure there were 7 players. So they're not going to play with 6, obviously. They're going to play with 7, and it's definitely the case now. They're going with 6, 2 prototype 71s, 16 TP, and 10180 will be going for double T100 LTs, triple type 71s, and double IS7s. IS7's a tank that I don't see often nowadays on the Clan War, so we will see how 10180 makes this tank work. Sniper says two Leo in the decider game. I think they're trying to take the double Leos to get the the DPM, and also they're relying on those 2 players to work in tandem really nicely, and the communication there. But apparently it hasn't worked fine. I personally think that Leopard 1 is not suitable for tournaments because of the rather large profile and the juicy armor. It's very HEable, and you don't really want to take an HE shot from those, especially those super heavy tanks. We saw those German heavy tanks can unleash an extraordinary amount of damage to the backsides of paperly armored tanks. So, well, we're now going in 10180 versus Brown, and double checking the scoreboard. It's correct. So let's go in and see about this. We have Renaissance. I don't think it's called Renaissance. Renaissance. In the T100 LT split up strategy is actually the same strategy that we saw against Risk. But this time, can Brown make this work? A great shot from Mr. Insane onto Renians. A great shot onto Cook by Strasny as well. And are we going to be saying 101 AD trying to consolidate a little bit? Brown now going en masse onto A, and some shots onto Bernardo as well. C will be captured by 10180 very soon, and A has been captured first by Brown. What will 10180 do? Have they watched my streams on how Risk counters Brown's strategy here? Oh, we could see 10180 now streamlining their push. They're trying to focus onto Strasny, and those 2 tanks in the middle are now pushing down the middle as well, but also at the same time Brown making a push near B and trying to get Spunado and also Cook out of the way. Can they get Strasny as soon as possible? This is going to be the matchup of the night, and Brown is struggling a little bit with the shots, and also 10180 struggling to kill Strasny here. Mr. Insane going to push shots in, but I mean the focus is fire, but both teams are not really on point. And those bounces as well. Strasny will still surviving, and it's now being killed. Brown, what targets are they going for? They seems to be really confused there. A, B are both captured, they have the cap lead, and the hit points are really close. And now 10180 now trying to kind of go in and try to take Mr. Insane out. And surely Brown has to be really quick with those shots and kills now. 10180, Mr. Insane will be killed very soon. But Cook is also killed. And we will see Mr. Insane out. Bernardo also now. It's now 5 versus 5. This is actually really close to call. 10180 is now struggling down the middle. And those T100 LTs are also a little bit slow in getting the tanks out now. Can Chen get Chon out of the way? No, it wasn't the case, but Chon is killed by Ryan Fury. And Horizon is now looking to get Renians out of the way, and it's going to be the case. Martin's also being killed too, but Brown still have 2 caps here. All they have to do, they need to get the caps, or they will need to get all the kills. But Chen is also dead. Ryan Fury can potentially win against those 2 tanks there down the middle, and also I think my Ayanami-chan. He has to kill Horizon. This is definitely a lot of responsibility on his hands there. But he bounces that shot, and he's now down to a one shot as well. And Brown will take the first win here. Some major mistakes from both teams, I have to say. I'm really sorry to say this, but some really big major mistakes from both teams. But in the end, Brown did a slightly better job in the end. And I think an important part of their win is them getting B as well. 101 AD, they were really unable to capitalize on Brown's hesitation, also lack of focus fire, and also a couple of bounces favoring in their way. And they were unable to also consolidate and try to get the tanks out as soon as possible. And I think this is their downfall. And because they are very, very slow in kind of getting the tanks out and trying to force Brown into bad positions, they were unable to get both A and B, and I think that is what kills them the game. 101 AD, they once again some good ideas, but they really need to be quick on executing those ideas, and Brown, in the end, they kind of got themselves together, and we really love to see them, but they really, really need to make sure that they also have to get the focus fire on point, because that could also be the main reason why they could lose the next few matches. And really good job from them in getting the B cap. That is really crucial in my opinion. But I think both teams had a lot more to show in my opinion. They have a lot better performances. That is what I think. Sorry being a little bit negative here, but you see my point. Hopefully we will see better matches from them, and we're going to see Brown taking the first win so far. And hello, chat as well. I noticed your, from Isra. My prediction of top 8 EU. I think the current leaderboard looks pretty good, and I mean the top 9. I mean also with jokes. I think it can be between these clans and also ICPA that could also be in the fold. I'm very sure that there will be fewer than 8 teams with the perfect number of cups on the EE server, so ICPA would be on the leader on top 8 probably. But I will go back to this match here. Renians getting the spots up. Mr. Insane spotted, and the double T100 LT is now trying to kind of they have to run. I would say they will spot up Strasny and also Ultimate very soon. Yeah, they spotted up that. Oh, good shots into Ranians from Ultimate. But this is what I'm saying. They have to run away, because otherwise they will be trapped in the desert area, and you don't want your light tanks to be trapped. That is not something that you wanted to do. And we have Brown still not dropping any hit points, and that is really good. But C is going to be taken by Chon, and he will be getting C with relative impunity, but that will bring the cap points in favor of Brown. And 101 AD, can they get A or can they get B? I don't think they can get B. Brown is well positioned to reset B, but A is something that I think 101 AD can try. But they are now diverting most of their forces away. They're now trying to push C. Oh, Strasny very, very far forward. This can be an issue here. But is 101 AD going to allow just Chen 1 versus 1 against Strasny like that? I have my questions, I have my doubts here. Martin is dead, finally. Well, not finally. He is dead somewhere. We actually are seeing 101 AD pushing into the majority of Brown's defense line, and Chon is now down to a one shot and will be taken out by Ryan Fury potentially. Bunado has to go back, and Strasny so trying to get the shots into Chen, but that was a bounce though. Chen has to penetrate Strasny, but it was Nami Chen getting Strasny in the end. So in the end, they got two tanks trying to help one another, so that's good. And the hit points are in huge favor of Brown now. The defense definitely worked in favor of Brown. And we will see Ryan Fury being removed from this battlefield. Now I would say Brown has better focus fire this time. And Chen is now very, very low. And we could see Bernardo not being taken out by these two tanks here. Chen will be taken out by Morshanik. And we will see Bernardo going to take a couple of shots. But those have ended up in as bounces. Bernardo down to one shot. Motionnik is killed. Bernardo is killed. My Nami Chen is the last person standing. Brown, this time doing a lot better in my opinion. They defended really well. I think 1-on-1 AD, their push, once again, good ideas. Their organization is letting them down. And especially allowing that IS-7 to 1 versus 1 when IS-7 has a lot lower fewer hit points than the Strauss in the Type 71, and only for my Iron Chen to come quite a considerable time later. This misplay is definitely not the major reason why they lost. I think the push in the middle didn't really work out for them in the end. And you have to give credits to Brown for that defense there. Some good focus, and they really crippled the efficiency of 1-on-1 AD loads there. So 1-on-1 AD, they need to get the organization sorted, because they really look like everyone is calling for themselves. And that is something that I think is happening at the moment. It's like there's no one that is trying to bring everything together at the moment. Or maybe they just went for like simple calls, like just go for that side, and they really didn't kind of micromanage a lot in those pushes. And I think they really need to go beyond that if they want to get into a really good position in on the APAC server. So I forgot to change the scene, but now Brown is leading 2-0. The last match Brown has done a lot better, and can they continue this momentum onto Camp Steer? So they're going to be taking Quintuple Type 71s, 160 TP and 1 Vigor Slide, and 1-on-1 AD. 1 STB1, double Type 71s, double Crown, 1 T100 LC, and an IS-4. And we will see here. Camp Steer. And here we go. 1-on-1 AD, red team from the south spawn, brown, blue team from the north spawn. We are seeing Brown looking to go for A potentially, and 1-on-1 AD going for C. And we could see Mr. Insane getting the spots up for Brown's team. Yeah, some tanks been spotted. My Nami Chen in the T100 LT looking to spot anyone on the northeastern corner, but that's not the case. Mr. Insane, despite the close proximity, my Nami Chen is not able to spot that tank out. And with the entire Brown team crowded onto A, they will definitely get A first. And definitely this is not going to be a game where we will see little to no action. But 1-on-1 AD has to be really careful. They're very spread out at the moment, especially with Ryan Fury right over there, holding in the southwestern corner. He is spotted. If Brown decides to make a push now, They got some information. They got even more information. They don't know how many tanks are near C though. But that's just the uncertainty, and this is why they are holding back in the push. But if they realize where the front wagons are, chances are Rhyme Fury will be the focus for Brown. And Strasny in the Type 71 very sneakily hiding in the beginnings there to reset B, but he has to be careful of the oncoming focus fire from 101 AD. Look at this, really sneakily resetting B, and it's all about 1 versus 1 there. And Brown, as I said, has made a push onto Rhyme Fury. Great call there, and they have to take this tank quickly enough. BRWN is trying to come back, but I don't think that's going to help a lot. Chon Chen just have to stay back because he has much lower hit points. And Strasny is really dissuading Chen from getting B here. And I mean, Rhyme Fury is going to be taken out quickly now. Cook is also relocating to support Rhyme Fury. But Brown is it's taking a really long time for Brown to get Rhyme Fury. Finally they got it down. And Chon is now really low. And Mr. Insane is actually that in the Vickers Light, 101 AD is actually flanking from the back, and Brown might actually not be winning if this deficit is still right there. Strasny is in deep trouble, and now Ultimate and Horizon is trying to get Chen off the way, and Siraj is trying to tee up with Brunado. Brown is falling apart a little bit with the organization here. And Chen is now down to 1 shot. So far, it's still 6 versus 6. It's now 5 versus 6. My enemy Chen is now down to 1 shot now. Strasny will try to survive, but he can't. He got killed by Meng. And now the tide has turned. 101 AD with better positions, but Brown with 2 caps still. Really on those double crown wagons, will they stay behind and do almost nothing? They really have to kind of support some of the frontline players there, especially I think Cook will try to support Ado. This is going to be really important, I would say. They really want to take out Siraj, and then Chon might be also in deep trouble now. 180 is hesitating. And this is not going to be in their favor. Going to go to their favor because they don't have time. Brown has 2 caps. They have to hurry up. They have to organize their push somewhere. Double Crown Wagons are now trying to get Horizon and Ultimates, and hopefully this is the call they're going for. They can't change their minds now. They need to kill tanks now. Siraj is dead, so that's a really good start for 101 AD. Ultimates is probably going to go down soon. I mean, look at them in deep trouble. Ultimate, I think he has to push forward. Tee up with Horizon. But Meng is now looking for Horizon here. And Cook is going to kill Ultimate, potentially. That's a great shot there. Great double tap onto Meng. And Meng is now going into B. And Horizon has to stay alive. I don't think he can. No, he can't. Horizon is now dead. Chong is also a 1 shot. Now, 101 AD got B. The Captains could go into their favor if they don't lose any more tanks now. That will all boils down to Moshnik in the Type 71. He has to get Boone out of the way. And now my enemy is trying to get A as well. This is going to be really tight. 101 AD can still win this one. Can still pretty much win this one. That's a great shot from Motionik, but is it going to be enough? My enemy is going to get into A very soon. Chon is struggling to survive, I would say. But does he have the gun pressure to get Cook out of the way? No, I mean, Brunado, all shots been fired. Chon is now trying to push shots into Brunado. It is the case, but Cook bounces. Oh my goodness me, what has ARWV Chen done there? What? Well, I'm in absolute hysterics here. What is going on? Now this is really anticlimactic. Basically Brown wins because my ARWV Chen drowned himself in the river. I don't know what more I can say about this, but this is very unusual, as so to speak. This is I can't comprehend this. This is probably the weirdest game I've ever streamed. If I were to be honest with you, I thought 10180 has this one because definitely 60 TP. That I mean, Chon one shot could be killed by Cook in the Crown Bargain. I mean, that was that was that was very unfortunate for here, but it wasn't quite enough to get Brown the win there. I mean, if my Army Chan is on A, then 101 AD will. I mean, could have this with caps, and I mean they are looking very close to winning. To be honest with you, and that kind of accident happened. I'm not sure why. I am lost for words. This is I don't know. I don't know what to say. This is unfathomable. I don't know how to say it, but I mean, Brown, great idea to push onto the southwestern corner, although they took a lot of time to kill that tank. And I think after they killed that tank, they were hesitating on where to go. I would have gone to the southernmost lane, continue pushing, and try to get the isolated Type 71 of Boon out of quickly as well. And in that situation, Brown would have a really strong commanding power in the caps and the map positioning as well. Strasny was very unfortunate. I think if Brown pushes down the southernmost flank there, I think Strasny could be saved. That would give some hard time for the Crown Bargains to kill Strasny, and because Brown just diverted their forces into, I mean, there is only one tank in the southernmost flank in the end. Those Crown Bargains could just focus all their efforts onto defending B. Very unfortunate for Strasny there. But again, I think 10180, the lack of organization is really really hurting them. I think they lack central coordination. And this is something they really need to work on if they want to do very well in the previous skill tournaments. I think a lot of the calls there with a central caller, I think they could bring together the strategy a lot better and the positioning a lot better. It's not because their strategies are not good. I think some of their moves there, if they really kind of tidy up their pushes in the organization, I'm very sure those kind of moves could work very well. It's really all about those kind of the organization. It's all the organization that really need to work on. I'm proud. Brown, I think some of the shots they really need to work on as well. The shot efficiency is something they really need to work on a lot, and I hope whoever loses the upper bracket final will go down to meet Brown, and Brown really need to make sure those shots count. And I know that both Chibi and ID can punish whoever team being extremely slow in taking tanks out, and Brown absolutely. I hope if they get into top in the end, which I think they have a lot of potential, this is pretty much the area they need to improve the shot efficiency, getting shots in, and it's great to see them conserving hit points better than the first proof of skill tournaments. That's really great to see, and I hope they can further improve on that. Oh my goodness me. Well, that was kind of a roller coaster that I endured. We have endured, I mean. And now the people have responded to that match of 10180 versus Brown. Um, so we have, okay, so now let's actually look at the results of other groups. We have SZ, well done there, 3-1 against EOS, and this is definitely the result they want to go for, because they definitely want to get into the top 16. EOS unfortunately will bow out to the 4th place there. Group 2 we have DT still playing against UQ, PTW 3-0 against P2 sadly. I mean P2 beat one of the really good teams yesterday, I forgot which one it is. I do have to refresh my memory on that. Nomad, on the other hand, beat PTW 2-1. So that means Nomad are through. And at the same time, we have, yeah, we know the results of Group 4 there. I'm not sure what they're saying in Cyrillic, to be honest with you, but once again. We will follow the lower bracket first final after that. Thank you for more than 40 people watching at the moment. Hopefully we will have more as the games progress. We do have more than 60 people watching at one point, so it's great to go. It's good to know the 4th place for the group 4 will be 101 AD. Oh, that's a surprise there. UQ beat DT 3-1, and I think this is one of the major results that I'm waiting for from UQ, and that's really good job from them. And DT, very sadly, they will finish 3rd place in Group 2, and I think it's high time to update the Cups leaderboard now that we have results coming in. So I'll quickly enter the details. Okay, so now the Cups leaderboard will be updated soon. And as you can see on the right hand side, now we have Risk and are still at the 1st place. GRS Brewery, Norman GV, P1 ID are still are still playing tonight, so we will all be occupying the top 8 spot. BRWN in the 9th place. Sadly, with 101 AD out of the tournament, they will occupy the 10th place. But PTW, they absolutely have to finish higher than 3rd in order to leapfrog 101 AD, and so it's potentially UQ here. UT, EOS, P2 will all be bowing out tonight. And in the 4th place, Nets Z is still in the running in the tournament. They're in the 17th place, but if they qualify to grand final, they will leapfrog King to get the 16th place. So this is pretty much the exact top 20 on the APAC server. I'm very sure HPG is in the 20th place with their better clan rating than others. Hi, Motionik. How are you doing? Okay, so apparently there are lots of people from BRWN, I think, now in the chat. I hope I don't have to. Oh, so there are a couple people from First Alliance. The S63 AMG, which got banned by Wargaming. Yeah, 2 according to the regulations. No, BRWN definitely not all full Russians then. No, I am definitely sure that Siraj is not Russian. I know him way before this BRWN team started, so I definitely know he is not a Russian. I mean, I know Strasny's it's probably from the CIS region, and then there is, I think, yeah, Motionik is also part of the CIS. Was also from the CIS region, and then yeah, I think this is pretty much the only 2 people that I know that are from the CIS region. I mean, unless Wargaming checks BRWN's team, I don't think they well, it's all on to Wargaming to check whether they obey the regulations there. It's not just the 2 Russian Belarusians rule there, but you also have to obey other rules. For example, you cannot account share. That's one of the reasons why players got banned in tournaments. So, and there are a host of different sorts of rules that are included in the regulations that are on the website. So make sure you obey them all. We're going to be waiting. Okay. So going to be, and then there is ELS. I don't know about ELS clan beforehand. Okay. So ELS is apparently okay, full Chinese, but with one potentially player from CIS, or maybe not well, maybe not from exactly Russia or Belarus, but this is why Q was streaming EOS the other day. Rip HPG. Yeah, I feel sorry for them, but I think they played some really good games. They went really close to qualifying, so maybe they do in the 3rd Pro Skill tournaments. We don't know, and that will that will count for more cups actually. So if HPG actually qualify for the final Team Prima Skill tournament, I think they can get into top 16. So they are not out yet actually. I think they can still very much get into that top 16. So good luck to you all, and make sure if you have clan logo, send it to me. I mean, I'm translating all of your messages on the chat. I'm trying to interact with the chat now. So yeah, hopefully we don't see more. No prizes for watching the stream except some amazing games. Okay, so hopefully we aren't seeing some drama happening on the chat there. Oh, don't want to be involved in that in that situation. Yeah, Siraj is Indian. That's something I know definitely. Yeah, I definitely know. There are a couple of them that are definitely not Russians or Belarusians. Yeah. And say hi to everyone. Here so far. Okay, so while we are waiting, there is still a lot to. Oh, actually, you know what? Let me bring you something here. Not this. The power rating or the L rating is very much the L rating of the clans. So I've set that to well or is this actually the right L rating? I think this is not the one I have on the server. So I'm going to actually just not include the results of yesterday and okay, so there we go. Hopefully you'll see this one nicely. So before the results yesterday, this is the power rating that I have on the APAC server. Please hope that this is the right, this is the correct rating here. Hopefully it's the right one. It is the right one. Yeah, it is the right one. Yes. So currently I have Risk P1 GB GRSI, the RN Nomad Riri in the top 8, King in the 9th, Brown 10th, 101 11th. So pretty much what you're seeing here is that Brown is really close to the top 8 and King as well. But King unfortunately did not qualify for the matches tonight, so they will drop further down the L rating, the power rating. And this entire thing will be updated after tonight. So you will see some movements, especially take notice of SZ, where they will probably rise up the leaderboard here because they won against DT, and that will bring DT down. Brown will definitely increase in the rating because they beat 101 AD. So this I mean also King lost to SZ, so they will drop down as well. So this entire leaderboard will be completely different, especially in the challenge from the 9th to the 16th place. So this will be thoroughly updated after tonight, and you will see the final results on my Discord server, and the link is in the description below. And this is going to tell roughly what you expect in the top 8, and Nomad and Riri are both still calibrating, so I think this could still very much be changed. Brown could potentially be in the top 8. I think they can slip into the top 8 in the end, but will that be at the cost of Nomad or Riri? I don't know. Or would that be actually one of the top 6 clans which will be replaced? I don't think the top 6 clans are like very much in the top 8 unless they do something really unless they perform horribly in the last super skill. And I hope that doesn't happen, because those 2 proof of skill tournaments are going to match a lot in terms of the number of cups they're going to have. So okay, room is up, and I'm in. Right, so yeah, someone mentioned that HPG just barely lost to EOS. They also barely lost in the lower bracket final on the first previous skill tournament. I forgot which team it is. Okay, so 2 minutes left to go. Brown versus ID, and we are now on Port Bay. So ID, we have quadruple Type 71s, double T95 E6, interesting choice, and Sheridan. Apparently ID actually lost to GV, so we will see a rematch here. Brown, quintuple Type 71s, 6 TP, and Vickers Light. And in the meantime, I'm just going to reload the screen. And see the results of that, of ID versus GV, and it is actually ID losing 1-3 to GV in the upper bracket final. Hopefully that is going to, yeah, hopefully the scoreboard will be updated appropriately. And on the other hand, I have Risk 3-0 against Nomad, so well done to Risk there. GRS against Riri. It ends in favor of Riri 3-2, so this is an important result, and that will put Riri in a good position, potentially in the top 8 now, if they manage to beat GRS again in the grand final. Finally, we have RN barely losing to P123, so 2 games have ended in tiebreaker, sadly. Okay, so this is going to be updated soon, and we are going to go in to Port Bay. Brown versus ID. It's going to be exciting again. So Brown from the north spawn and ID on the south spawn. Where will they go? Will Brown do a lot better than the last matchup with ID? I think now with Drasny in the team as well, this is going to definitely improve Brown in terms of the organization. But there is still a lot to do for Brown's side. But ID, they are veterans of the APAC server. Will they bring us surprises again? This time we have Brown looking to go very quickly into both A and B, and they are sending 3 tanks in B exactly. And what will ID do? Will they just go push in straight into Straszny? That can be the case, and it's possible. But at the same time, those Type 71s are going to come back to support Brown's team. So Straszny might potentially be okay. And Camper might be looking for Chon. And we are now seeing 3 tanks going for Straszny. We're seeing a full-on push from ID now. Now onto Straszny. Nassau for me has taken some hits. And now the Type 71s are trying to come in. Straszny's now very low. It's now being killed. And it's all about ID's focus fire. ID needs to get it sorted very nicely. Mr. Insane has now taken some hits, and ARWV looking for Mr. Insane. Great shot there. Campon also looking for Mr. Insane here. And I think CPAC and LDS might be looking for Motionik here. But attention's been diverted. ID has a lot more hit points here. Spartan Sword coming from this plateau here. He's going to put a shot into Motionik. It's a big shot there. ID now has to take out these 2 low hit point targets here, but LDS bounces onto Motionik, or is it onto Mr. Insane? ARWV is finally dead. We have LDS looking to get it's another bounce though. They have to stop bouncing, and Brown could take this one if they keep on bouncing shots here. LDS finally kills Motionik and Campon. Great shot to Siraj, but Horizon will remove LDS from Port Bay. And Memento unfortunately can't do much here. Campon can bounce that shot onto Siraj, and it will be a kill definitely. Memento doesn't want to ram into Campon and kill himself. You don't want that to happen. That will be embarrassing to watch. Florianica looking for Horizon. Campon, great kill onto Memento. Well done to ID, really great push. Very decisive push. This is the organization we've been missing in the last game of ID versus Brown. Not ID versus Brown. Brown versus 1-on-180. This organization is what we want to see. Well done to ID. Great focus fire. Brown focus fire was not as good, but still okay, I would say. I think it all depends on ID. Their focus fire is slightly better than Brown, but Brown definitely not a bad match from them. Definitely better than how they performed in Mayan Ruins. And ID, great start, 4 tanks to 2K. They have to maintain that kind of decisiveness into the next few matches. They are doing really well in this one. And the next match will be on Port Bay again. It will be ID winning 1-0 so far. Hi, Happy. How are you? Ah, you're from HPG. If you have clan logo, send it to me. I've been saying that on stream multiple times. But if you don't worry. Yeah, Riri. Because it's Rory actually, but it's the 0 is replaced by 1, so I call him Riri sometimes. Because 1 looks like an eye, so it's like Riri. Ah, great to hear about that, Neon. Hopefully they will do nice, and will we see full team of Type 71s? That will be interesting. It worked before. It worked on the EU74s. So I won't be surprised if they're going to do that. If any team here tonight is going to do that. But you know, APAC teams, they love some kind of diversity in their lineups. I think they were trying to get more specific tanks in specific rows. So that is why you're seeing you're seeing an assortment of different types of tanks on the APAC server. Ah, that's why Leon supported Brown, because they were in Brown. Time to roll out. So we will have Brown now, red team from the south spawn, ID blue team from the north spawn. That's actually for the Spartan Sword this time. He will potentially go to the northeastern corner. Nope, he won't. Interesting call. What is he trying to achieve here? We will follow him for a moment. Brown is gradually coming into C. Okay, we see now tank spotted trying to come into C. I think this is the job of the Spartan Sword, is to shoot tanks trying to cross over to C through this ridge over there. But this is going to be an interesting move from ID. What will they make of this? Campen takes a hit from Moshnik, and Strasny's coming from this area to try to get Campen here. Great shots from Brown. Brown started this one well, and ID here have to work hard in order to get back the hit point pool lead. Great shot to Mr. Insane as well. Brown's trying to capture C. And ID pretty much bundled up near the northwestern corner, but Brown is also losing some hit points. But ID, they have a lot to work with because they don't have the hit point advantage. Campen get shot by a lot. This is not looking good for ID by any means. Z-Part trying to get B, but will that be enough? Spartans are going to A. That will give the hit point, the cap lead potentially to ID, but they have a strong hit point pool disadvantage, and this is not going well for them, unfortunately. Although, we could see a push coming in. Chon looking to get Z-Park out of the way. ID turning their attention now. We could see ARWV putting a shell. Nope, you won't be able to do that. Strasny actually gets shot at. Oh, last one for me is going to be under a lot of pressure. We could see potentially Brown. Spartan Sword shooting from behind. This is going to be exciting. Will ID get a focus fire in? Last one for me. Can he survive for long enough? But the first time down will be Z-Park here. And last one for me. ARWV's trying to rotate. Nope. It's Chon will be killed by Campen. Campen down to one shot actually. And ARWV great shot to Memento. I think the focus fire from ID is actually again on full display. Great shot to Memento. LDS in deep trouble. Campen still alive. And that's always a bounce here. Campen dead. LDS has to put a shot into Moshnik. Great shot there. Dead. 5 versus 4. ID looking for Mr. Insane now. Last one for me. Bounces onto Mr. Insane. That's not nice. But Plorienica has to put that shell into... No, he can't put the shell into Mr. Insane. It's now hidden in the building there. The focus fire from ID is now tailing off a bit. But that's understandable because Brown is now making it difficult for them. But now Spartan Sword and also ARWV teeing him onto Lasso for me. Great kill right there. And then all hope is now onto that Sheridan right there. Plorienica down to one shot. ARWV now quite low. But that was a bounce from Spartan Sword to Strash. The ARWV is killed, and Horizon is now trying to put a killing shot onto Plorienica. That is the case. ID, they still have 2 caps compared to Brown with only 1. But is this going to be enough though? Spartan Sword is hoping that he will be able to kill some tanks on the way. But not sure what's happening on the chat right now for Brown. Is someone raging in the chats? I don't know. Well, I think ID, what they didn't do well this time is that they lost so many hit points at the start. It made it really difficult for them to counter Brown. They tried really hard in getting the focus fire right, but simply Brown with more hit points, and also their shot efficiency is not bad at all. I think they were constantly in an advantage. That ID is going to be on an uphill battle in this situation. That meant that ID would lose this one, and it goes to 1-1. This is going to be exciting. Now we are on Faust, and this is going to be a different story. Alright, now we're going to be seeing Brown quadruple type 71s and double 60 TPs, one thickest lights. On the other hand, ID going with double Sheridans potentially, quintuple type 71s. ID absolutely have to preserve their hit points. Oh, Spartan Sword Trinity into WZ113. No question about ID's focus fire. I think they've shown the best focus fire in the games we've been watching so far tonight. But Brown, definitely. You don't want to fall under their traps. They can set up traps well. They can be in good positions to bleed you hard. So this is going to be a good matchup, and I love to see Brown has now grown into the game.
Time to roll out.
And we will follow Brown from the south spawn and ID from the north spawn. And ID, we will be seeing Campen in the Sheridan. D will be captured by Mr. Insane. ID won't get a cap lead again this time, but you can see this train of tanks there all going into A. And if Brown just put all the tanks in one basket on D, question is, will these 3 tanks survive? We will find out now. Porielica is waiting. Siraj. Oh, that might be a mistake. Or maybe not. Z-Park is able to reset Siraj. No. Oh, has to drop down, fortunately. I think ID didn't have the tanks there to support Siraj. Brown is now coming back to support Campen in the Sheridan. Sniping from behind. Great shot into motion. I think that was... That actually penetrated. Oh, Z-Park in D trouble. Now 2 tanks from below. It's trying to shut the tanks of ID down. They will have to get the Type 71s out of the way as soon as possible. Can they do so though? Mr. Insane and also Strasny is going to definitely be in all sorts of difficult situations. Spartan Sword, the focus for Brown. Porielica down to 1 shot. Campen now coming in from behind. Porielica now dead. Horizon now dead as well. And Campen, the Sheridan has to do a lot of amazing stuff. Has to get the focus fire in. Spartan Sword is now dead. It's now 5 versus 5. And it's a kill from Campen onto Memento. Focus now onto Chon Chan from ID. But Brown will be looking to take out Z-Park here. But great shot onto Strasny by Z-Park and will be removed from the battlefield by Strasny. It's now 4 versus 4. There is still a chance for Brown to make a comeback here. All they need to do is take out LDS, I would say, and then the rest of the tanks. ARWV now coming in to support. But LDS, oh, that was not a good shot from Strasny. It was a miss, unfortunately. Last hope for me. Great shot to Mr. Insane. And Campen now coming from below. We will see tanks being removed. Mr. Insane's now down. We will continue to follow Campen for a moment here. The next target may be Siraj. Because now ARWV bounces that shell. Campen, still full health actually, is going to kill Siraj. Great shot here. That leaves only 2 tanks remaining on Brown's side. LDS is now killed by Strasny. He can't heal himself in that situation. Chon Chen is now dead. Strasny, the last person standing. Campen, man of the match for me, I would say. That Sheridan causes lots of nuisance on Brown's team, and you don't want to underestimate the capability of a light tank, let alone a tank with good DPM. Campen, ID, bring this to 2-1. And I couldn't really, well, I mean, this is showing that ID's focus fire is still really strong. And Brown's focus fire is just not as good, but still I mean, some people are saying on the chat they need to pan their shells. I think that's still really important. ID showing showing they're better in the brawls actually. 5 tanks are more than 2k, and now it's going to be match point for ID. If they can win this one, they will qualify to the grand final, but we might be able to see a tiebreaker. Faust, Brown versus ID. Will Brown settle for the 3rd place, or will we see a tiebreaker? This is going to be important. ID, they have to keep up with their strong performance. Okay, there we go. Well, great to see some people commenting on what was happening in the battle. Love to see that. It also appears that the viewers agree with what I said about the matches, but I actually want to hear about from the Underwatcher. What do you think about the second match on Port Bay? Because apparently you have some interesting insight that I might have missed, so glad to have you talk a little bit about that, and maybe I might have a better understanding about that. So thank you for your comments on the stream, but we will go into this match now. 4th match, Faust. 2nd match, will we see Brown bring this a tiebreaker, or will they settle for the 3rd place? If they want to get into the top 8, they must win against ID, but ID at the same time, if they want to get into top 8, they also have to win against Brown. So this is like a very important match, and we are all here for that. It's exciting. And Campen in the Sheridan spot up Strasny, great job there. And will Campen spot up more tanks? I see will be captured by Chon. And we could also see ID. Oh, tank spotted, Prorieka spotted. Again, similar strategy as last time. But this time, the difference is that the tanks near A are a lot further backwards. So as you can see, Brown is a lot more bunched up together. But that will also mean they will give up the back control. Potentially, what ID can do, they can get A and D at the same time. Campen is there, and will LDS be getting away with capturing A? We'll find out very soon. It will be the case. They will get A. But Campen's not getting D. I think one of the reasons why he doesn't want to get D is he doesn't want to expose his position. He wants to get into crossfire to shoot tanks that are defending on Brown's side. And this is what he's waiting for. It's completely reasonable for Campen to do that. Do have to remind you, Faust 4-cap map, 3 caps for 2 seconds of release, of increase. So in this situation, both teams will use up all 7 minutes if it continues this way. So Campen has all the time he needs to put a crossfire. Now he is spotted, so has to run away now. Can he do that? Brown might be looking for Campen's head. He's trying to get unspotted first, so this is a really good idea from Campen now. D will be captured by ID, and Campen, he still has to run away though, because he is in deep trouble. Brown might be looking for him sooner or later, but at the same time, Spartan Sword. No, I don't know. Should he run away? No. He has to turn back. Mr. Insane is looking for Campen here. Great shot there. Great second shell there. Mr. Insane is not going to last for long if he continues to brawl with Campen. Campen takes another hit though. Campen has to put that shell onto Mr. Insane. That's a great penetration. It is a bit tricky, but he pulled that off. Hit point still in favor of ID. And ID got 2 caps now. And Spartan Sword. Oh, it's a miss from Spartan Sword though. But now it's going to be 2 versus 2. This is going to be tricky. ID now is going to receive a push from Brown. But Not sure if they can pull this off though. It's all equal numbers on all sides. Now Cap is trying to run away. And then he's trying to get D. Oh dear, C I mean. Can he pull this off? Is he going to get C or is he going to go into another area? ID now actually dominating on this southwestern corner. They are winning this fight. It seems the equal numbers on different sides. ID has the advantage here. And Horizon's down to a one-shot will be killed by Poryelica. LD is now quite low. Down to a one-shot will be killed by Siraj. Oh, Campen bounces their shell sadly. But now Spartan Sword has come in to support the rest of the team. But ID has lost D. And great shot from Campen onto Memento. Now Strauss needs to focus for ID. Look at Lasso for me. Great shot there. An arrow path and Poryelica now looking for Moshenik. Now everything is coming together nicely for ID. They are getting the tanks left, right, and center. Mr. Insane down to one shot, but he has to go for a really long distance to support the team. Siraj now the focus for ID. Love to see that unfolding for ID. Siraj down to a one shot. And Z Park now looking to brawl against Chon one versus one. It's a bounce sadly for Z Park, but Mr. Insane's now dead. That leaves Chon, the last person standing. And this is it. ID will qualify to the grand final and they will win round 3-1. Great job to ID and commiserations to Brown. They've played better this time. But I think the third match, what went south to them, pretty much, I mean, they had equal numbers. So it's really down to the focus fire and also the shot efficiency. But but I don't think the focus fire is, I mean, at that situation when there is like a numerical equivalence for both teams, focus fire is not really like the major issue for Brown, but it's more to do with maybe the shots that didn't really go in. I think there are a couple of bounces here and there, and I mean Memento, lots of the shots didn't go in. I would have wondered he would have done a lot more damage had he had some of the shots in, like Horizon, 2 shots bounced like there. And also Moshenik, also a couple of shots bounced. So Brown pretty much the penetrations, the shells didn't go in, and I think that really that really changed the game a little bit. And also Campen managing to go out of this, get out of the situation, doing 4,000 damage once again. Crucial player there, bringing together the team really nicely. Spartan Sword rotating to support the team. I really love how they regroup themselves in the mid to late game phases, and I think this is what separates ID from GV there. I think ID, they were really good with the kind of the organization. They have some of the best they have really good organization, some of the best we've seen tonight, and the focus fire is definitely on point. So GB versus ID, now this is going to be one heck of a fight now. First time GB beat ID 3-1, and now will ID get their revenge against GV? Big Bear, why Asian players love Type 71? No, it's I would argue otherwise. Because EU server, they have even more Type 71s. If you have some time, go and watch some of the EU streams. You will be surprised at the number of the Type 71s that the team brings. And I'm going to actually go back and see the results for the lower bracket finals as we wait for the match to to show up, not show up to begin. Hi, thank you Azok for the subscription. New Bay is not a new map. The newest map here is Molendijk. I don't think I've well, we followed that map last time. Okay, so we have RN 3-0 against UZ. Oh, GRS 3-1 against UQ. PTW knocking out Nomad 3-1. This is a bit of a surprise here, but it is going to mean that PTW could potentially get into top 8. Maybe not, because they finished 4th on the first Proof of Skill tournament on the second day. So the top 8 is pretty much wide open at this stage, I would believe. Just going to update this, and we're going to go into the room now. Okay, so looking at the lineup here, we have the P word in the mouse, and we have quadruple type 71s by Ad Get in the van, I believe. Yeah, that's what I remember from the Bex and Tokyo. Rome 60 TP and Professor VK. ID on the other hand, they will take a Badger. Really interesting choice from Spartan Sword there. Pluriatic in the mouse. And we have triple type 71, 60 TP and Campen in the IS4, not in his most favorite tank, Sheridan. But it's understandable because it's Dynasty's Pro, the long narrow corridors, the flat terrain, except in the parks on the park side, meant that the super heavies will work really well. And the light tanks and medium tanks not so much, because you don't really have the openness to get the spots in. But Campen has to ready up, doesn't want to, you know, pull off a scary situation. Yeah, and we are in. Campen farming like crazy. So Underwatcher says not bring a light tank is a bad idea. I'm inclined to agree on that. But for teams that don't take a light tank or medium tank, you are really relying on trying to push on one side in this situation. I think this is one of the major ways you can win with no mediums or lights. It's that you really need to force a push on one side sooner or later, and they are right about not having the information. So this is the apparent advantage that I agree with, and 5 somewhat the look of the map. So I'm not going to talk much about that. Going back to Dynasty's Pearl, GV got A first, and some communication issues meant that Bax will take a little bit of hit, but the hit points are still very close. ID with a slight hit point pool advantage. C is getting captured by ID, so that's really good. So that meant that ID has to kill one tank in order to bring the cap points back in their favor. And you can capture B, it's possible, but you have to bank on GV not having the tanks to reset B. So what some clans do to cap B is they have 3 tanks lined up, or even 4 actually, and have one tank going into B completely shielded by another tank there. Maybe by a mouse, but Porielica is not near there, so he might not be doing that job. But this is what I see sometimes. The teams that don't have a cap lead that are near C trying to get Bs to really try to get that one tank completely shielded from the opponents. But will they do that, or will they find a way to push GV? This is going to be really tough for ID to push. But what ID is doing really well at the moment is they are removing the hit points of GV little by little. But the issue is that Campen is losing unnecessary hit points, so that is really not going to give ID a great upper hand. If they continue to do that, they still have to work really hard to remove more hit points from GV. Looking at LDS here, LDS is going to flank from behind, maybe getting get in the van. Great shot there. LD is not taking a hit. And Bax takes even more hits, and GV is looking very leaky at the moment. They are leaking hit points left, right, and center. But another issue is that ID is a little bit spread out. And I think this is what GV is going to do. They're going to push one single side, and they're trying to get tanks out of the way. But at the same time, ID is going to make a rotation from behind. It's going to be all about efficiency. It's all about who can get the tanks out first. All about the focus fire as well. ID now going for get in the van. The focus is on there now. Double tap on to get in the van. Arrow path, they're very, very low. Last for me. Puts a great shot to get in the fan, bring it into a one shot, and it will be killed by Plurielica. ID once again bring everything together, and they are now focusing the mouse. Is it the right thing for ID to do? This is going to buy much needed time for GV while ID is trying to focus the mouse, and they are doing that exactly. But I won't fault them for that, because that's pretty much the only tank they can go for. But look at how much time it has bought for GV. They have managed to regroup. Spartan Sword now capturing B, and ID is now a little bit stuck here. They're now trying to force a push onto Tokyo. That's going to be a great job for Last for me. He's still pretty much full health, so he has to make use of his large pool of hit points here. And Spartan Sword also very healthy as well. And he's going to get that shot onto Tokyo. And it's now turning the attention over to Bax, with Bax killing Plurielica. Great shot from Rome onto Spartan Sword. Bax is trying to run away, but Spartan Sword with gun depression is going to kill Bax. And Rome is trying to get B back, but it's going to be too late because ID now 980 cap points. One more kill will be enough, and a little bit more time will be enough for ID to win by caps, and they do. Well done to ID. Great game. Once again, love to see their organization coming together really nicely. The focus fire once again on point. GV, they have the time they need with ID at that moment focusing on the mouse, but they weren't able to use that time to find an isolated ID tank and shut that down. And I think GV, I think they have to kind of consolidate a little bit further, try to streamline their procedure, the target procedure. And if they can do that, actually I think this could have gone a lot closer. But as we see, both teams really close in terms of the skill level and also their organization level. So 1-0 for ID at the moment. Gold on Blitz says Wargaming should introduce tournament between all 4 regions. Yes, they know we did have that before, but due to very special circumstances that I think you all know at the moment, it's not possible. I think Wargaming is trying to work very hard to make this happen again. So we will see if it's going to be the case. Hopefully we will be able to see the servers going head to head in an offline tournament. And that is exactly what Unknown Watcher has said there. Hello everyone watching this stream here so far. Thank you for the more than 70 viewers watching here. Hopefully we will break the 80. We will break the record last time. I think last time I had 92 watching at the same time. Let's see if we can break that record. Let's go back up high and watch GV from the north spawn this time. ID blue team from the south spawn. And GV this time going mostly to A. We could see a battle unfolding around the A area. So let's follow Z Park. VK got spotted. Good HE splash onto Rome. Last of knocking down the trucks I feel sorry for the truck driver that is in the truck there. But well, maybe the entire area has been evacuated to make room for the battle of ID versus GB, so potentially there's no one there, and I hope there's no one there sitting in the truck. But ARWV takes a big hit from Max, and is potentially going to put a shot there. Maybe not. But we could see Z-Park still holding on. ID is holding on. I think this is a game that ID might not be comfortable with, the holding game. Previous games, ID has won when they are able to make a push, but GB has to make it really difficult to do so. Can ID do this one? Win this one? We will see. It's all about the focus fire and the personal skills as well. BRWN going 1 versus 1 against Tokyo. Spartan Sword going 1 versus 1 against Putin. Apologize for that word, the P word. So Z-Park going to land that big shot onto the P word, and great damage done there. ARWV. Great shot there, and Spartan Sword killing off the P word, and BRWN is going to put a shot into Tokyo potentially. Yes, that's a mass throw. You can hear the sound in the background as well. LDS and also last up for me and Kampen. What target are they going to go for? We're not going to follow that side for a moment here. Let's follow the middle side where ID is looking to get Rome, and Spartan Sword not able to land on top of Rome. That would have been funny, and we've done a lot of damage to Rome. Big shot into Rome. Big Rome from Z-Park. On the other hand, ID, it seems to be coming out on top in this fight. Kampen's still alive for unknown reasons, but look at this. Ad is still surviving, Kampen's still surviving, but now it's actually Ad that gets killed, leaving only 2 tags remaining for GB. And IG, really strong performance. Really strong performance. This is amazing to watch. Professor is now dead, and Kampen kills Bax, and what a win. Once again, organization is on point. Focus fire is pretty good. GB struggling a little bit with their organization and trying to get their shots in, I have to say. This is separating between the two teams. I know that GB did a lot better than this because they've won against ID 3-1 in the upper bracket final, so they will have to do really hard in the next one. And look at ID, all tanks have killed 1 tank, and they have done lots of damage as well altogether. So that brings ID to a match point now, 2-0. Will GB make a comeback? Fort Despair is quite similar to Dynasty's Pearl, but it's slightly more open, so more positions you can take to get crossfire. Is this going to be the map for GB, or will ID still dominate? Hi Nat, how are you doing? And here we are, ID. They're taking a nice 4. A concept 1B, interesting choice. Quadruple type 71s and FV215 GV. Somewhat identical lineup. So the same IS4 quadruple type 71s. This time they are taking 1 light tank. This is the only team there. I mean, they are the only team here taking a light tank. And they are topping that off with a 60 TP, I believe. It's going to be the case. So it's all or nothing for GB now. They must win this one in order to stay in the game. And ID, very dominant performances in the first 2 matches, and this is going to decide whether they will finish in the first place and get into the top secure a place in the top 8. With Professor now the only light tank in this match, getting the spots, and I think he could spot a lot of tanks here. Poryelika going into the northwestern corner, but Professor's going to run away. He doesn't want to expose his position. He's still unspotted here. And I have to remind you that if you shoot in a tank, your camo rating will decrease by a lot, especially for a light tank. So this is why Professor doesn't bother shooting Poryelika. GB does not want to telegraph the position of Professor to ID, especially when Professor is running away out in the open. Okay, so great shots coming from GV. They've put some good shots into Poryelika and Campen, and all Campen and all ID needs to do is to find a way to break GV down and get back the cap lead. You can't get A. These two tanks there are going to sit deep to reset you. You can get B, but that's not going to be enough to get back the cap lead. What is ID going to do? One thing they could do is to get C. And this is potentially possible because GB does not have a lot of tanks near C. And Bax potentially could be an ice tank, but then we're now seeing GB rotating back to defend C. So this is something they can't do, but I doesn't know those 3 tanks are rotating from behind. So without a light tank there for ID, they potentially might not have those information. That is crucial information, and there is still some time. But if they don't get a cap now, they will have to rely on them getting all 7 kills, and this is going to be a big gamble for ID. And now ID might be trying to pressure on C, and there are going to be a lot of tanks on C. We might be seeing GB rushing onto these Type 71s. They know those Type 71s are isolated and they are in trouble. GB are pushing. Great idea from GB. Great reading. Can they get the tanks out? Can they get a focus fire in? Great shots onto Lasso for me. The P word is coming from behind as well. This is getting really sinistrous for ID now. C Park out in the open. ID. Can they do this? They still have more hit points. GV stopping in their push. They've turned their attention onto Z Park. But have they committed too many tanks or just one single tank? Now ID has made a counter push. This is not nice. GV might have potentially thrown away a big advantage there. Rome is now dead. And Z Park's finally dead, but at the cost of 1 tank there. Focus now onto Tokyo here. The hit points are now neck and neck. Poryelika is now the focus for GB tanks potentially. Tokyo is now dead. Last for me dead. Get in the van down to a 1 shot. It's now 5 versus 5. There is all to play for. This has to send the end of Pandemonium with Get in the van now dead. Now the focus for ID is going for potentially Bex. But we also see the P word killing Poryelika there. Professor's now a 1 shot. Arrow Path killed. Spartan Sword down to a 1 shot. GB now with more hit points here. This is going to make all the difference. 4 versus 2. GB coming out on top in the end. A little bit of a scary situation in the mid game, but I mean, they started this one off really well. They were really gambling on getting all 7 tanks out of the way. They couldn't, and GB they almost threw this when their push to the northeastern corner didn't quite materialize well in the end. I think the numbers they were trying to manage are a little bit questionable at times, but in the end they pulled this one off. And this goes on to show the focus fire from GB is also still there. ID's focus fire is also still there, but then losing some hit points at the start as well. And also the positioning, I think GB has the advantage in my opinion. It was really close. It could have gone either way, but it ends in GB's favor. But I would have said GB would have been a lot more comfortable if they worked the numbers a little bit better. But they did get the wins get the kills in the end. Professor, very important, those 3 kills in T100 LT, and we are now back on Fort Despair. It's now 1-2. Yeah, it's not often we see a light tank on Fort Despair, because Fort Despair is somewhat of a small map, perceptionally. Well, although I said it's a little bit more open than Dynasty's Pearl, it's still not quite open. It's also very, very flat, so that light tank might not be able to hold down and use the very low tank profile. This is why you don't see the T100 LT a lot as well. So now GB changing up into quintuple Type 71s. The P word in the IS4 Professor and T100 LT, ID quadruple Type 71s, M60, FE215B, and the T60TP. Great to see 89 people watching. Hopefully, we will go to a tiebreaker, and the excitement will be all concentrated potentially in the next 2 matches, and this could still be ID's win. But we will see. ID is getting challenged with defense, and let's see what they're going to do here. GV.
Time to roll out.
Last match is more like what I know about. So let's follow Professor and the T100 LT, looking to get the spots in for GB and ID. It's going mostly to way this time. There's a little bit of glitch there. The ping is a bit eeky, bit wacky, but we got there in the end. We have a bit of packet loss, but everything seems to be working fine and dandy. C is going to be captured by GB. Once again, GB getting the cap lead and ID. Are they going to get B, or will they challenge? Would they try to once again gamble on getting all 7 kills with C being captured? ID Campo taking the 2-shot M60. This is not something I see often with tournament teams. I like the 2-shot M60 because it gives a little bit more damage with per shot, but the DPM is a lot lower than the 3-shot M60. Ooh, great shot onto Professor. It's a blind fire. I don't think ID knows this here, but this is this is quite a coincidence. Surely Campo can't see the stream. This stream has a 3-minute delay. He can't possibly know where Professor exactly is. So this is really a really lucky shot from him, and that brings ID an even bigger hit point advantage. But they don't know this because they don't know that Professor has taken a hit. So while ID is still waiting on a move to shut down GB, GB is just holding still, not allowing ID to put shots in. And I mean, only Professor is the only player here that takes a hit, so that means that it's still anyone's game. Last for me getting B. There is lots of hit points to bring back for ID, cap points to bring back for ID though. Polarianica takes a hit. And now ID might be trying to get C, but they're very spread out as well. So GV, if they know this situation, they can make a push on one of the flanks. They have to make this push decisively, but will ID regroup just in time to prevent GB from being able to make a push? But I have to be, but Z-Park has to be careful in capturing C. Because if he does so, that could elicit a response from GB to rotate to take out C, and you have to know that Z-Park is somewhat isolated unless we're seeing more tanks diverting to support Z-Park. Oh, we now can see Z-Park coming in. Will Bax get the reset shell? Great shot onto Z-Park by Bax. It's going to be really hard for ID to shut down GB now. The hit points are neck and neck. GB still waiting passively. ID still hesitating on what to do. They don't know what to do here. They are worried that they're going to be shut down, but I think it's all about a gamble now. They're trying to get C, but will someone get A? If they manage to get A just in time, that could work. But GV might be knowing that ID might be getting A at the same time, so they have some forces taking care of that. But ID successfully getting C. Well, GB, I might be overthinking this, but ID getting C is huge. The C Park could be in deep trouble now. GB, do they have positions to shut down Z Park just in time? Z Park turning his tank. Great shot onto the P word, and GB's trying to get C back, trying to retain the cap lead. But a ball has been dropped. Tokyo receives a huge hit there. But absolutely, ID needs to shore up, needs to consolidate GB better in the organization, in the focus fire as well. The P word's trying to get arrow path. Yes, great shot there. And some shots into the P word as well. It's 2 versus 1 there. The P word's trying to get arrow path out of the way. BRWN is blocking the shell as much as he could. And the P word bounces onto BRWN. P word could die. And it will be arrow path being taken out by Ad. This is still really close to call, but GB gets B. This is also monumental. Camping instead is now 5 versus 5. This can be anyone's game to call. Can ID get Yuli out of the way? The P word's still very low. BRWN absolutely has to kill the P word, and he does. That brings it to a 4 versus 5 now, with Yulia also dead. This is looking more and more likely to be ID's win. GB getting LDS, and Bex taking a huge hit. Ad is looking for BRWN now. Bex going for Z Park, because they're trying to divert their attention. They're trying to do division of labor. ID now very strong. BRWN now dead. It's still anyone's game to call, but ID now doing 2 versus 1 against Ad. Z Park is now dead. 2 versus 2. Ad is not going to last long for this world. The cap was still in favor of ID, but if Ad's able to kill one tank here, I'm very sure this could be anyone's game now, with only 1 tank remaining for GV. Bax is trying to cap C, but I don't think that's going to be enough. ID will win this one by caps. ID, very strong performance once again. They got the organization in the end, finally. And GB really made them work hard in this match. Great job from both teams. Commiserations to GB, but I have to say, huge congratulations to ID. Very impressive matches tonight we've seen from ID. Their organization is really good, and their focus fire is really on point. GB is gradually warming up to the autumn season. I think they showed some tremendous potential that I think they haven't unleashed that yet here. But I'm very sure they are a very capable team. They can do really well with the teamwork in the later previous skill tournaments. But ID will be going home with the first place. Well done to ID, and they will be going home with lots of delight. ID 5 tanks 312k, GV 3 tanks 312k. It's going to be it's going to be once again ID first, GV second, Brown third, finally 10180 fourth. Okay, we have results. P1 3-2 against RN. P1 3-2 against RN. I make sure I didn't say it wrongly. Oh, really? 3-0 against GRS. Well done to Ruri. That's amazing. From the GRS has to work out now. They do not want to. They do not want to perform terribly in the next few skill tournaments, but Risk 3-1 against PTW. That's also a great result, and we know how it ended for G vs ID. So this is it. Final results. Group 1, we have P1 first place, RN second place, SZ third place, EOS fourth place. Group 2, we have Riri, the first place, GRS second, UQ third, DT fourth. Group 3, Risk first again, PTW second, Nomad third, P2 fourth. And finally, we have Group 4, ID first, GV second, Brown third, and 101AD fourth. Okay, so this has been me, Robinselber, and I'm going to update the Cups leaderboard as well. So we have the following. Okay, so this is going to be the Cups leaderboard for tonight. Okay, the leaderboard has been updated. So we have Risk at the first place with 10,860 cups. Riri, second place, 9,860 cups. P1 and ID both at third place with 9,708 cups. Fifth place we have RN, 9,338 cups. GRS and GV both at the sixth place, 8,338 cups. Nomad eighth place with 7,577 cups. PTW 9th place, 5,834 cups. Brown 10th place, 5,823 cups. 101 AD 11th place, 5,290 cups. UQ 12th, 4,171 cups. DT EOS tied at 13th place, 3,790 cups, all alongside P2, so it's a three-way tie there. Kang 3,684 cups, SZ 3,095 cups, our Sock 2,282 cups alongside Reds, with HPG trailing at the bottom of the table, 1,456 cups. And I'll be uploading the power rating onto my server very quickly, and this is going to be it from me, Robinselber. Thank you very much for watching. I'll be seeing you in the third previous skill tournament. I'll be following the first day actually, so do come along and we will see the exciting matchup that will unfold at the eyes upon our eyes. So have a good night on the APAC server in Asia, and see you very soon. Bye.